Welcome back to Evening Plus. Well, we're talking tonight about a topic not many folks here in Michigan are familiar with, and that's bull riding. I am joined by Braden and Wacy here, and you guys, we're talking about your family has quite the history with bull riding. You're from Coopersville, right here in West Michigan. Bull riding, not something so many folks here in Michigan are familiar with.
Not at all.
But you guys definitely are. And the reason that we brought you guys in to be on the show is because you have helped to raise a bull. His name is Tyrone, alongside your family, and he very well may be competing in the World Championships in Texas this weekend, which is so crazy cool and excited. But I want to start sort of from the beginning here. Not a very typical sport hobby here in our area up north, but bull riding, how did you guys get into it in the first place?
Yeah,
or I should say raising bulls. You guys don't bull ride.
No.
And your mom is very happy about that.
Yeah.
But raising the bulls.
Yeah. No, we don't ride bulls. We're too smart for that. we know how mean these things can get. We can watch from the chutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad, ever since I was little, my dad has had bucking bulls. I don't know where he got the idea from, but he's been doing it for a while. And then right around the time that us kids kind of were growing up, we started getting curious about the animals, wanting to go in there. He had kind of wanted to step back away from the aggressive ones for a little bit. So then he kind of switched over into the beef animals. All of us kids had done 4-H for a while.
Cool.
But then when I had heard about all the cool stories of them trucking to Texas overnight and all these things, I thought that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
I wanted in. So I had done some convincing, and it took some convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was able to convince my dad to try to step back into it. Well, we only had one cow and our old breeding bull left, and he kind of kept them around for sentimental reasons. And he just figured, why not try it, see if we can get something, and that's how Tyrone came about.
Yeah, and so Tyrone is 4, and we've got some video and some pictures of him. You'll see him bucking. This is some awesome video, and this is what bull riding looks like if you've never seen it. It's pretty crazy. I came here from Oklahoma, so I've been at PBR events, and they are wild and a lot of fun.
They are intense.
But let's kind of bring it back here for a second. How do you go about raising an animal that is this large and this powerful? I mean, what did that look like for you guys? I mean, you're still a teenager, Wacy, you're in your early 20s.
Yep.
So you guys must have been teenagers and younger when you were doing, this. What did this look like? What is that process like?
Well, I guess,
It's a very careful process.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
What kinds of things did you have to do to care for him when he was, younger?
Well, this bull's an athlete, and you got to treat him with the respect that he is athletic and he can get you. So you really got to take precaution when you're dealing with these animals because they can get pretty aggressive,
Yeah, I mean, as far as, I wouldn't never ask a person this, but how much does he weigh? How tall is he? Give me some statistics roughly if you guys know off the top of your head, just to, we can see the pictures, but how big is he really?
So Tyrone, he's about 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
And he's about just taller than like me or Braden.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
2,000 pounds. Same height as you guys, but obviously much wider.
Much wider. Yeah.
And what has the process been like? We're going to talk in a moment. The reason we have you guys on the show is because he could be performing, competing in this huge national stage, or world stage rather, this weekend. But it doesn't start out, at that level.
Right.
How, originally he doesn't even have a rider on him when he's starting out. What does that kind of process of building up to this point look like?
Yeah, so bulls, they're born with it or they're not. And you figure it out young. When they're a year old, you bring them to an event and they don't have riders on them. They're too small for that. They got little metal boxes, probably like that big, that they strap on them with a button that they can fall off. And it's just to simulate a rider.
Yeah.
So he's able to start at that. And he was big for his age. And usually they don't get riders on them until they're 3 years old. But towards the end of his 2-year-old year, he was big enough that we figured we could try to get some small riders on him. And that's what we did. And he did pretty well. But the riders in Michigan, I don't mean to slam anyone here, but they're not the Southern riders. Those boys do it for a job, So he did good with the Michigan riders, so we wanted to see how he performed with the Southern athletes as well.
Very cool. Okay, and so let's get to, why we have you guys here today is because he's been competing, and you guys haven't been with him for a couple of months. He's kind of in a group, and he goes to these competitions. That's sort of how this works. But he is bucking tomorrow night, and this is what's kind of going to determine if he makes it to this World Championship this weekend in Texas. I mean, how are you guys feeling about this? This is a big deal.
Oh man, I'm juiced. I am jazzed for this, man. This is something we've been working for since I was able to convince my dad to go at it again,
Yeah.
you know? So it's awesome to see it happening this quickly.
And what were sort of the steps to lead up to this point? You know, you don't just get to the step before Worlds and you're good to go. You know, how did this, how does the progression get to here, you know, the world stage?
Right. Well, I think what we ended up doing is, like I said, we started with him in Michigan, and then we had a partner, and he helped us down south. He's from northern Indiana, and he was able to help us get some better riders on Tyrone. And from there, you just kind of amp up. You start with the better riders, and then you put them on some hotter intensity feed, get them a little more energy. And then you just keep moving up with riders. You keep getting better and better riders on them.
And something that folks may not know, you know, a lot of people know that when it comes to bull riding, you know, the rider has to stay on the bull for a certain number of seconds, and, you know, that's how they move on. But the bull is also competing with their own technique and how they perform and how high they buck. Can you talk a little bit about that? You know, he's competing in his own right as well, not just those riders.
So, like when the bull is competing, it's very like complicated process. You judge the height that he's getting off the ground, the speed, the intensity that he's hitting, and you're also judging the turn back. When he, right as he steps out that chute, he's bucking, he's jumping, but you also want him to turn around and you want him to kind of turn back towards the chute so he's not running out towards the middle of the arena.
Gotcha. Yeah, so again, he's doing his own craft there. And so walk me through, tomorrow night is this kind of final step before Worlds this weekend in Texas, which you guys are really hoping you're going to get to go to, of course.
Right.
What needs to happen tomorrow night?
So tomorrow night, he showed up the first night and he did very well. And I think what he needs to do tonight is he needs to perform as good or better than he did on Saturday.
Gotcha.
So if he goes out there and he puts together an out that he did, or in that we know he can, I think we'll be just fine.
So exciting. And this is the first time that he's made it this far. I mean, he's only 4 years old too, is that correct?
Yeah.
So cool. And what would this mean to you guys? You know, I don't want to jinx anything. It's still a couple days away.
Oh boy.
But, you know, if he were to make it to this point this weekend, what would that mean to you guys and your family?
Oh man, that would be awesome. You know, that's something that my dad's been working towards before I was helping, and now since we picked it back up, this is our goal as well, to get him to this level. So it's incredible, man. And I don't say, no pun intended, and I don't say that lightly. It is amazing.
Very cool. Okay, well, we are wishing you guys, of course, the best of luck. You know, it's really all in Tyrone's hands at this point, but you guys have had so much to do with it, you know, coming up to this point. So that kind of final step is set for tomorrow night, Thursday, and then we will know if you guys get to head there this weekend. And this is World Championships for PBR, and that is, which city in Texas is that this weekend?
So he's bucking tomorrow in Fort Worth, and if he gets to the next level, the championship round, then he is in Arlington.
Very cool. Okay, so we're hoping that he gets to Arlington this weekend.
Yes, we are.
Awesome, guys. All right, well, thanks so much for being here on Evening Plus. We so appreciate it. We will hopefully run a very positive update about this weekend. And if you guys get to go, that'll just be so cool.
That would be awesome.
Thanks for coming in and talking about this, and hopefully introducing a lot of folks to the wild world of bull raising and bull riding.
Yes.
Awesome,
Thank you
guys.
for having us.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about